Shiba Inu warning, warning. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the channel. Thank you so very much for tuning in today. That's correct. Shiba Inu and warning, warning is the title of today's video. We do have a very important warning for those of you who are on Apple devices, Apple computers, Apple phones. This is a major warning for all of you. There is an update, an immediate update that is needed, and we're going to dive into that article today. So what that means is if you have your crypto on your phone, on your computer, whether it's on a MetaMask or a Trust Wallet or any of those, or maybe even a centralized exchange as well, there's a 0-day attack happening on Apple right now. You do need to go do an immediate update to your computer and also to your phone. So I wanted to first start off with that. Now, also Shiba Inu warning, warning, we are crashing. We did have the crash that we talked about yesterday in the video back down to that quad 013 area because of the giant imbalance or fair value gap that needed to be filled. It's filled now. We should potentially have a rally because now there's a huge fair value gap to the upside that needs to be filled. So these moves up and down are just liquidity grabs by the big whales taking people's money. So we're going to jump into that today. We're going to look at the weekly chart for Shiba Inu, the daily chart, and the 4-hour and see what's going on, anything that we can see going forward. We're also going to look at Ethereum and Bitcoin and cover those as well. And then after all of that, we will also cover the major news, all of the news that's going on throughout the crypto world and Shiba Inu specific news. But first, let's jump into this very important Apple warning. And hey, if you're new here, my name is Ryan Huggins. I'm a real estate agent and a crypto and real estate investor here in Southern California, and I am here to help be your crypto shortcut. If you're like most people, you don't have the opportunity to spend hours a day researching crypto all day, going through every headline, watching hours of YouTube videos. Well, that is what I do, and I bring that information to you in a consolidated manner. So if you're looking for a crypto shortcut, make sure you smash that subscribe button. So here it is. Apple releases iOS, iPad OS, and Mac OS security fixes for 2, not just 1, but 2 0 days under active attack right now. Apple released a surprise software updates for iPhones, Pads, and Macs on Wednesday that fixed 2 security vulnerabilities known by Apple to be actively exploited by attackers. Apple said that the WebKit bug could be exploited if a vulnerable device accessed or processed maliciously crafted web content that may lead to arbitrary code execution. While the second bug allowed a malicious application to execute arbitrary code with kernel privileges, which means full access to the device, the 2 flaws are believed to be related. Apple said iPhone 6's models and later, iPad Air 2 and later, iPad 5th generation and later, iPad Mini 4th and later, iPad Touch 7th generation, and also all iPad Pro models are affected. All right, so for all of you Apple users out there, please do what you do. I don't know, some of you guys like to update, some of you guys don't, but that is a potential issue for those of you that are storing a lot of your crypto, your keys, and all of that on your phone currently. Okay, so here we are, Shiba Inu. Let's jump to the daily charts. And as you can see, price did fall back into our supply and demand zone here. Let's go ahead. We're going to start fresh and new today. All right, fresh and new today. We actually tippity topped our previous section that we said price was going to be going to. It hit there, it rejected, it continued bouncing, and it played all the way out to what we said. And then multiple reasons here. Let's clear all of the rest of the drawings. Number one, the RSI, it did on the daily charts here reach a very high level of 76, which would be considered overbought territory for crypto. Sometimes, obviously, we've seen it get 80, 90, but on the daily for it to be over 70 is an extreme level when it comes to any crypto on the daily. Now, on the 4 hours, we've seen them get really gnarly, right? I mean, we look here. This was where it caught my eye the most personally because I do most of my charting on the 4-hour charts. As you see, it got to 93. So there was nowhere for it to go to the upside. that all it could do is come to the downside. And then also, as we talk about all of the time, what left here? What was left here? Well, we have all of these imbalances, right? So from this wick right here on this candle, there's a wick right there, all the way down to this wick right here. That was a big giant imbalance. And then if you even kept going to this candle, there's no wick on the bottom of this one. And the one previous to it, the wick gets to right here. And look where price came and stabbed, right? Right in, boom, the fair gap, right? Just and then took off to the upside. So could we see a relief rally? Well, we saw this. Look at this one. Oh, look at this imbalance right here, filled. All right, there's a tiny bit left. Let's go ahead and make it simpler though. And that way you can physically see these fair value gaps. Now we can see what's going on here to the upside on the 4 hour. So we do have some extreme, these things fell so fast that it left fair value gaps, imbalances to the upside. Now we do have still some of these to fill to the downside, and we talked about those yesterday as well. The one that was the most pressing was our quad 013 territory. Let's get our horizontal line, and we'll go to here, and let's just mathematically change this quad 013 right there. Boom. All right. So that one was the one that had been used as a resistance, and then it broke through. Okay. That was supposed to be a support line. And sure enough, it came and it's acting as a support at this moment. But what we talked about was when this exploded to the upside, it left all of this crazy amount of room still left to be filled. Okay. And it came back and it filled all of that. And in fact, let's go jump over to Ethereum. Ethereum had an even more dramatic drop. But as we can see, look at this big giant imbalance that was down here. Even this pullback here did not fill the imbalance. But look what happened here. This got to literally right here, basically, right? Filling in the imbalance. But now there's some to the upside. So I know like right now, everyone's like, holy moly, market's crashing. It's over. We're going back to 10,000 Bitcoin. I don't think that's happening yet. I think what we're going to see is price come back up over the next couple of days, as we discussed in our video yesterday. By the way, if you are not subscribed, make sure you subscribe to the channel because you would have known that this fall was coming. So why do I think that things could be going back to the upside? Well, first of all, now that we got up in here, right? So these were overbought, and then it dropped, came back up, overbought. Also, all these bearish divergences. Now we're playing here on the 4 hour charts, okay? But what happened? It came all the way down to oversold, an extreme oversold, down to 14. The price doesn't chill down there, right? It's not supposed to be. It's supposed to play in between 30 and 70. It's supposed to just up and down, up and down, up and down, in between 30 and 70. When it's above the 50, it's bullish. When it's below the 50, it's bearish. That's what they say. So when we get to 20s, obviously some sort of recovery is coming. But not only mentioning that, we have all these fair value gaps to the upside. But we have a bunch of things coming into play right now. So first and foremost, it's in one of our 4 hour supply and demand zones here. It needs to break out of that. And then it needs to go to the fair. So there's a lot of work to be done to the upside. So we may see a recovery over the next couple of days. But let's go back to Shiba Inu. Let's go ahead and go back to an empty chart. Let's go ahead and turn on our moon phases real quick. And as you can see, when the new full moon hit, boom, we spiked up. And as we've been talking about, the new moon, which is when price usually falls, the new moon, this is way early. So could price recover and get back to these previous highs before the new moon hits? Well, here we are over at time and date, and our next new moon is August 27th. So we put that in the charts. You go over here to this, we get a vertical line. We go to August 27th, way over here, and boom. All right. So we have all this time to recover to the upside for Shiba Inu, at least getting up here and filling these fair value gaps that we talked about, right? But then when we do get here, I do think that we will see a move down. Jumping over here to the daily chart instead of the 4 hour, there's actually some really good news here as well. Okay. So what happened here? Well, if we take a look at the past right here, this was our last most recent highest high, right? Because then it kept getting lower highs. And then we have these newer highs right here. So this was the low. We had a new higher high. Then we had a new higher low. Then we had a new higher high. We had a new higher low. We have a new higher high. If this is a low and we start moving back to the upside, this could be very good news for Shiba Inu for this short-term run to the upside. Now, my personal opinion, and again, I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice or anything like that. I think the low is not in. I don't believe that the low is in for any of the cryptos. I think we'll be coming back down, but this very likely could be the market structure we're looking at. In fact, when we turn on our Market Liberator A and we look at our trend line here, let's go ahead and make an adjustment on the settings. Let's turn the buy sell off and boom. Okay, so now it's cleaner. So as we can see right here, when we flipped to bullish sentiment, according to the Market Liberator indicator, this line becomes like a trailing stop loss or a support. You can see it keeps on making new higher highs. That is positive. Now, obviously, this extreme explosion to the upside, that was crazy. That was a move. You got to think about it this way. In the markets, there's these things called market makers, right? Exchanges, well, just pretty much exchanges. And that's what they do. They want to get people all fired up right here. Okay. Oh my gosh, it's going to break. It's getting close. It's going to break to the upside. So everyone puts in all of these positions, whether it's long or short or whatever. Some people think, oh, it's not going to make it. It's going to dump, right? Oh my gosh, price is going to crash. We're going to crash hard. So if all of these people, when it rejected, are putting in short orders, selling, and then they're putting in lots and lots of orders with lots and lots of leverage, not just buying Shiba Inu and then holding it. Because if it goes down and you're holding it, doesn't matter. But people gamble and they put leverage against it. They 5x against their money. This candle right here, if you had shorts, no matter where your stop loss was, even if it was back here just at the previous highs, you got liquidated. Boom, extreme liquidation here. And then people started FOMOing in. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna miss the run. Oh, Shiba Inu's going parabolic like it did back last year in September. It's going nuts. And then everyone started buying. And then the whales are laughing at all the buyers. And they start selling off all the stuff that they bought down here. They sell it all to you here. You hold the bag, price drops down. That's trader mentality, right? So there's day traders, and then there's also long-term bag holders. For those of you guys watching this video right now, and you're like, I don't really care if it goes up and down, whatever. I'm thinking 5 years down the road, I'm a holder. I love that. I'm proud of you. But there's also people on here that love to trade, and this is just my personal opinion, what I'm looking at when I'm trading. I do both. I have a long-term hodl bag. I buy and hold crypto, and I let it ride, okay? But then it gets boring sometimes. Like, I'm ADD. I'm trying to do stuff all day. I got, multiple YouTube channels. I'm surfing. I'm freaking doing real estate, whatever. You know what I mean? It's like, I can't just put some money in the crypto markets and then hope that it goes up in 5 years. So I have another bag that I have fun with, right? That I do day trading with and have a good time. So some of you guys out there are both, if you get bored in the markets, having a buy and hold bag and a trading bag is a lot of fun. So you can do it that way too. And again, not financial advice. But here's a good thing. We did come back to that quad 013. And I talked about this literally on the video. And the title of the video is right here, back on August 13th. Shiba Inu, quad 013. That was the day that I said that was what we need to break. Boom, it broke. All right. And then after that, Shiba Inu, holy crap. During that video, I said, holy crap, this is amazing. We're pumping to the upside. But hold your horses because we have this massive fair value gap that may be filled at quad 013, the number that was in question the day before. So that leads me to believe that we have some positive news because coming to the upside, turning back the fair value gaps back on, we have this fair value gap here. We have this one here. We even have one at a new higher high, right? All the way up here at quad 018. Now, the other thing that we'd like to do is we're going to jump over to our Heikin-Ashi candles. We're going to turn moon phases off so our chart's clean. And then we're also going to go to the weekly chart because this was probably one of the most important things that we looked at in the most recent history. We boxed off our weekly supply and demand box here. And this is the supply and demand candle. Remember the last green candle before the down move? It works on daily, weekly, hour, 15-minute, works on all of them. But we have this one here, and it's white because we fill in the weekly boxes with white. And what do? We also took our Fibonacci from the very low to that as a resistance, the bottom of that box as a resistance. Now, if we turn back our Japanese candlesticks on and we drop to the daily charts again, let's look and see if this happened to give us any insight to where things are going. So right now, price came all the way down below our 618. It actually did not even get to our 0.70 line. So that gives me a little bit of pause that there's still more room to the downside. That is potential. And then obviously it's more visual, like more visible. If you take a look at it here on the weekly charts, we had this big move. This is now a top. And then it's coming back down, tapping. Well, look, you can see this right here. Look on the weekly chart though. Yes, we had a wick down. Look where our last weekly chart took off from the 7.0. This one came, wick down below, but our body has recovered now. There's 2 days and 0 hours left to the 618. And again, that's playing off of our weekly charts. Now we can also jump over here to Heikinashi's. Let's look at daily, because daily is going to give us a much smaller time frame to look at. So now if we do our daily supply and demand box, which is this green candle before the red down move, go back in history to our present day. Dailies, we use yellow, fill the box in yellow, and we're just looking for anything that we could use as a signal of what's going on, right? So now we take a look here, and we also have price dropping not to the 618. So right now, what is interesting about what's happening with the price on the Fibonacci options is it's in no man's land. It could go up, or we could still have a more continued drop to quad 01215. What if we move it to the top? That would be like the exit strategy. Now what we have? Now we have an exact tap of the 618. And we also have the body rejection off the 382, tapping back down 618. Now we're starting to move to the upside. So we could use that as data and start playing around with that. So what we're looking at now then is we don't want price to drop below that 618. We would like it to make its way back up over the next couple of days. Let's do a deeper dive now. Let's look at our 4-hour boxes. Go back to our highs. All right, so this last green candle before the down move would be one of our boxes here. Right there. We're going to go with red because it's a 4-hour. Okay, so that's one of them. And then we also have this one here. Okay, so those are our two upside 4-hour supply and demand boxes that we could take a look at and see how did these come into play. All right, so let's see. Does the supply and demand box system work, right? All right, so here is what happened. Price ran all the way up, and where did it hit? It hit the tippity top of our supply and demand box, which was from here in this point in history, all the way back here, May 10th. It actually came back, hit that right on the exact spot. Rejected off, came back down, and then it decided to drop all the way back down to our other supply and demand box. And it used that as the support of the downside. And now it's starting to make its way back up. So if we're looking at this right here, right now, yes, we have lots and lots of signs showing that we are bearish. But we also have, well, really price action showing we're bearish, right? But look at our RSI showing we should be bullish here. Let's turn on our Nadaria Watson envelope, and we'll get rid of the fair value. And let's turn on our moving averages here. Okay, so moving average wise, the 21 did the, like the devil's cross or the death cross right here on the 4-hour, showing very bullish indicators. But price can easily recover to that zone because they're both right now in the top of this 4-hour supply and demand box where price should be recovering to. We're also, if you look at our Nadaria Watson envelopes, We're at the bottom one, the red one. And we have a green arrow to the upside, indicating we should push up at least back to the top side of our Nadarya-Watson envelope, which is our green dots, which is also our 4-hour resistance line, this red line. And it's also our 50 moving average. The only thing interfering its way up there is the 21 exponential. Looking here at the daily, we did come back like we talked about the other day, and it tapped exactly off our 21 exponential moving average here and here. And it's acting as a support and it's moving up. All right, so good news, right? So if we're looking at this, we do have some signs that we may have hit a bottom and we can make our way back up to the top side as well. I know it's very extensive, but I just wanted to cover everything because a lot of people are freaking out because this move, people got trapped and then they bought and it's down here now. Could we be jumping back up again? It is possible. Look at our 50 moving average is sloping up. Our resistance line here of this indicator is sloping up. So it was just a big move. And when things go up fast, they come down fast as well. Jumping over here to Ethereum. Ethereum did have this massive, like nasty candle, but same thing here, right? So when we have, like, this is why you subscribe to the channel. We use these tools on TradingView and it does a good job of letting us know what might happen. Price did come down to this Fibonacci level of the 0.382. And it also came to our 4-hour supply and demand zone here. It came into that zone and held as a support so far. What did we say though? We said if for some reason, and again, that's a 4-hour, you may be confused, like why is it? So here, let me just show you. Okay, so 4-hour supply and demand zone. And also when you look at it on the 4-hour, you can see how precise it is there, right? But also Ethereum jumped out of that Nadarya-Watson box. There's supposed to move up here. But here's the 4-hour supply and demand box. It did jump off of that and it's moving to the upside from there. We'll see if that holds. If it does not hold, then it very likely could have a bottom of the box here. In fact, that may be even the candle that's coming into question. Let's zoom in. It may have invalidated this one and it may be using this one. So this candle right here, we've fully boxed that one in. And we go to the very bottom of it as well. Okay, so this candle is the top and the bottom of that candle. And we've got it boxed in. Let's go back to current time and look at that. Booyah, right? Right on, literally on the wick. Hit it exactly. Because it invalidated this one, so it dropped to the next one. Now, the scary thing is, okay, well, if that doesn't hold, where are we going? We're going lower. And then our next supply and demand box down to the downside on the 4-hour time frame is here. And the top side of that one, which would act as a support, like it did here for now. I'm just saying if it breaks, it very likely could recover. Okay, we may see this recover to the upside. But if it doesn't, it comes down to 1408, then that'll be our next hold. It even has a better opportunity of being stopped along the way because it has the 0.5 line of the Fibonacci as well. Click to the daily here. So the only negative thing here on the daily is that it did break below our 21 exponential moving average and pretty hardcore, right? There is a big fair value gap to fill. So I'll show you this real quick. So there's this giant fair value gap that needs to fill to the upside. But at the same time, there is still more to the downside. But these may be filled later on in time, right? Like we talked about when the new moon comes into play. And again, that was like we showed on Shiba Inu right here, August 28th. Same scenario here. Could we see a push up over the next couple of days until August 28th? Getting back to this resistance line here, which is a historical, very, very important line for resistance before returning to the downside and then clearing all of this. All right, so there is the outlook on Ethereum. So it's being held. If it drops, it has the 50 moving average and then ultimately the 1400 support level. Going over here to Bitcoin. Man, it's just gnarly, right? I mean, literally after I recorded my video yesterday, it all dropped. It tanked. It was pretty crazy what happened. So right here, we were recording and then right here it released and then had a couple hours and then boom. But again, we haven't done any charting yet here live. So you guys are watching this as I'm doing it, right? So we're here on the 4-hour supply and demand box. You can see it came directly to the bottom of our 4-hour supply and demand box, acted as a support, decided to jump to the upside. So that's good news. Can we see this make a return? Looking here on the 4-hour, we're all the way down here, extremely oversold. Price should not be able to do that for a long period of time. So we very likely could fill back to the top side. And then this is a little bit of bad news though. So on our indicator here that shows like the market structure of what's going on, it broke structure pretty hardcore. It actually broke all the way through the 50. Like that is not good. But again, another big fair value gap. So looking here to the daily, if it were to break here, is there a move that could be lower than where we're at right now? That would bring us to this supply and demand box, yellow for daily. The top of that is 20,376. So if we get some, crazy downward volume and it wants to keep pushing, it comes to there. That also coincides with the 618 of the Fibonacci, 20,500 basically. Or is it just going to act as a support here, start making its move back to the upside? So we were getting higher high, higher high, higher high, broke down, right? So here's the low. We have equal lows now. If this can hold and we get another higher high, that's still good news. Taking a look here on the weekly chart, we are still having this weekly trend line here. We have not broke that. We also have our 21 exponential moving average on the weekly. We have not recaptured that, let alone the 50. Let's jump into the news. All right, so here we are over at Crypto Panic. And here we are at trending. Crypto mixers and privacy coins, can they resist censorship? So crypto mixer, where they spend your cash like Tornado Cash, privacy coins. Now that all of this regulation is coming and all of this like crunched down by governments, privacy coins are getting more and more popular. FTX blocks Aztec Network privacy DApp, calling it a high-risk mixer. So there you go, another mixer. All these mixer things are going to be in the news now because of the Tornado Cash situation. Charles Hoskinson disbands criticism, says 1.35.3 code tested for months. So there's some crazy news with Cardano not working. And it says here, Cardano catastrophically broken. Charles Hoskins refutes claims of vassal upgrade being brushed. South Korean professor invests toilet that turns waste into energy and pays out crypto. I love ingenuity. This is absolutely amazing. U.S. sanctions on Tornado Cash spark free speech protests. Charles Hoskinson said he is tired of taking the blame over ADA's delayed upgrades. So some really, really crazy, scary stuff going on with Cardano. ADA is down 10% today, also 45 cents right now.